crack the code. So there's a lot of things that you guys want from your person. You want your person to respect you, to love you, to chase you. You want justice to be served. You want them to understand you and to love you, everything. You want all of that. And the question is not how to manifest them or make them want to do those things. They're already a reflection of you. So the question is, what is the version of you that you need to embody? I'm not going to say need, but if you were embodying this version of you, then they would automatically give you the attention and focus that you want as a reflection. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to say that if you are applying and doing what we are talking about in this video, then you're automatically going to be applying every technique and practice naturally. Your thoughts automatically align, the images and what you imagine automatically aligns, you're automatically on the bridge of events. All of those things automatically happen. You automatically, paradoxically, feel the way that you want to feel, even though that's not the thing that makes it happen. But if you're not doing this one thing that we're talking about in this video, nothing is going to work. And we know a lot about things not working.
Indeed.
So I think it's like Thomas Edison said that he just found out 10,000 ways that it didn't work. Yeah.
To make a light bulb, yeah.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to make a light bulb. Okay, guys. So I'm Jasmine with Manifest Mass with Jasmine, and this is my business partner. And that's all he is, and that's all we are, and we don't give a fuck what anybody else wants. That's what it is. But anyway, here we go. So we have been making a lot of breakthroughs. We've been liberating ourselves completely. There's a lot of nuances to this art form underneath all the techniques that is called presence. And that sounds so boring, but I promise you that this is awareness. Awareness is the key to making everything else work. And if you don't have that, it's not going to work. And you will be so amazed. Like your head will spin. Watch till the end of the video because your head will spin when you see how quickly that everything that you thought was in the way doesn't matter anymore. And you suddenly know that you're in control and things just change. First inside, but they change in a way where you know that you're in control and you know that you can manifest and you know shit's going to happen. So I'm going to call it a mystical experience. He says, oh, sorry, that's not your SP. Yeah, it's not. It's my business partner. We love it. We love it. Like an old lady stopped us in the gym and she practically begged us to be a couple. And I was like, next time we're just going to say we're brother and sister.
It's the easiest approach.
So I basically had a mystical experience lately, and where it was a quantum leap where, I've been doing this for a very long time, and there's levels to awareness and there's levels to presence. But what you really want in order to really authentically embody the masterful version of you, you want full awareness and presence. You want full awareness of everything that's not you. Even it's everything. Everything you think is you is not you. And I had different levels of success in the past, as I'm sure that you have, because I had different levels of awareness. But what I really wanted and what I'm really obsessed with is bringing you guys a teaching or a solution or whatever, the truth, basically, of how to know exactly and deliberately what you're doing so that you can always get exactly what you want, and it's easy. It's like Lucy in the movie Lucy, where she's like doing this and she like knows what she's doing with the stuff and that.
Yeah.
And I always knew that was possible, and it absolutely is. And we're going to help you understand what that is. And we're not the only people talking about this. We're basically talking about presence and what people are also calling I am. But there's many, many ways to talk about this and to explain it and to cover it. And we're going to have our own approach. So if you resonate with this and you want to see more like this, we're going to be showing up live a lot more. I'm putting out a lot more videos on my channel, so make sure that you click the like button, subscribe, and watch till the end, because it only gets better as you move along. And I promise you that you will experience a vibrational shift if you're paying attention and watch till the end. So I have a lot of notes that I took, but where do you think we should start? Are you thinking anything right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Paradoxically, ironically, I am.
Okay.
But so I think like I want to start at like the fundamental of like why we want a particular thing, a particular person, and it always stems back to that feeling of fulfillment, that feeling of love, that feeling of connection. But the reason why we like obsess over a person and we're like yearning for them is because like we're going after the lack. We're focused on the lack of not having that person, not having that thing.
Well, I want to interject.
Oh, sure.
If you've been struggling and trying really hard, because I basically was plagued with like being the hardest trier ever, and I was so good at trying my entire life, and it was exhausting. Oh, it was so exhausting. But I promise you that what we're going to say in this video is how you let go of the struggle. So if you're done struggling, this is it.
Indeed. I just wanted to contextualize it so that we're like all on the same page, because like this is kind of like how we get into the journey. Like we experience something unique with a person, and then we find out about manifestation, and then we're like, okay, let's try to get this person back. And however, like what happens when we meet like a SP or whatnot is that we're entrained by the feeling, like we're yearning after the feeling. But because we're assigning the feeling to that person, we're feeling the lack. And the reason why this video is so important is to help solidify and help us understand that like once you go at this approach with presence, you realize that you're the whole enchilada. You are complete. And that is what makes you attractive, because you can cultivate those feelings of love, connection within yourself. And like I think I'm jumping the gun, but like I'm more so like simplifying it so that we can all understand like why is this subject so important. And authenticity is also like on a gradient, just like presence. There's some aspects in which like we truly know ourselves, and then there's some aspects where we fall short. But as you cultivate this essence that we call presence, the state of I am, you'll start to recognize more and more like who you truly are and like what you truly desire. And manifestation becomes like this sort of automatic thing, because you're now in communion with your desires, not so much trying to force them to happen, not so much trying to figure out how to make them come about.
So you're either in the circumstantial world. I'm just going to put it this way. You're either in the circumstantial world, or you're one with that which we call God, source, creator, whatever, that manifestational currency that you have access to. So when you find yourself obsessed with circumstances and the idea of the illusion of limitation, this is where you're putting your chips. This is where you're putting all of your faith in circumstances, right? And when you're doing that, there's no way that you can actually apply manifesting tactics in a way that's going to work reliably for you. You can't do it really that deliberately, reliably. It's going to just depend on where you happen to be at in your belief system. And that's going to be difficult to shift because it's not up to you, because your faith is in circumstances. So the idea of telling someone just do a technique, it will work for some people, it will not work for some people. You have to transcend the illusion altogether in order to reunite with yourself as source, your author. That's who you really are. And I'm just gonna say like two or a couple things, but like two things that for me really made the difference after I'd already known about this stuff for a very long time and had practiced it in many ways. There was still places in my life where I would like create a circumstance and then like that's where my alignment would come from. And then you take away the circumstance and I wasn't aligned anymore. And I had to transcend that. I had to transcend that like needing to believe in this thing in order to have alignment. And this presented huge problems, but it also presented equally big solutions too. Because like that's the goal, is being able to transcend reality, every circumstance, right? So that's the training. So for me, what I realized was that, all right, so I'll just preface this by saying that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions or your feelings. You are not your stories. You are not anything that you can perceive. Nothing, not even an internal experience that you're having within yourself. You are also not that. So when you wake up in the morning and someone in your head parading around as you says, I'm tired, that is not you speaking, and that is not even true. When you wake up and you say, oh, I'm sick, that's not even you, and that's not even true. But it's an option for you to believe. It's something there for you to observe. But what's happening with people is that you're simply believing everything that you see inside your head, with very little exceptions. Do you realize that you actually have a choice in the matter? So with most things, you're not looking at the tornado. You are in the tornado. You are the tornado. The tornado is you, and you are one with the tornado. So it's not a choice. It's thoughts, it's emotions, it's definitions, it's past, present, future, it's guilt. It's, oh, I did this thing. Oh, I'm too fat, he's not going to like me. Oh my god, I guess I smell bad. Oh my god, my mom is never going to approve this. Oh my god, I did this thing when I was 5 years old. Oh my god, I'm such a terrible person. Why do I keep thinking about all the things I've done wrong? What about all the good things I've done wrong? Circle, 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 circle. Yeah, circle, circle, circle. What if he doesn't? What if he does? What if he does? What if he does? Okay. Now, I also had the experience, even though I was experienced, I had a belief that emotion was important for manifesting. And I really, really wanted to work with that, but the universe kind of turned that off for me. That ability that I had it really well. That's why I wanted to use it. But it turned it off, and that means I didn't need it anymore. But there was still this, emotions were still kind of like a blind spot for me, because also what had happened is I had an emotion come over me and I believed it. And I actually like prophesied what was going to happen because of what I felt. And it happened with flying rainbow colors, miraculously. And in a sense, like, I was believing that emotions had power and that that it mattered. But when you realize that what you feel, so if you have a feeling, I'm a worthless piece of shit, and you feel that really, really strongly, whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever that feeling is for you, that's so believable to you. Just because you're really feeling that real and experiencing that now, whatever that story and emotion is that feels so real, it doesn't mean that it is real. So how do you break from the spell of Maya, the spell of the illusion, so that you're controlling the illusion and the illusion's not controlling you? I kept getting this message. And there's so many nuances to manifesting, and the better that you want to get at it, the more nuances you have to master. So that's where we're at. So if you're watching this video, you're probably advanced. But I kept getting this message very clearly that, like, don't fight. And I'm actually like the kind of person who just doesn't like to fight. So I was like, okay. But I didn't really understand how to apply this. Just like when you say, like, oh, I'm God of my reality. Okay, now what? What does that mean in actuality? What do I do with that, right? So it was like, don't fight. but I knew that it was true. I knew it was real. So I was, but it ended up being this, that I realized that I was always trying to make myself change. I have to focus different. I have to be different. I have to think different. I have to be different because if I don't be different, I won't attract different. And this is the authenticity trap. Let me tell you what this is. The idea that you are not authentic and that you need to be something else or change in order to be authentic is not true. I thought that for a long time. For a long time, I was like, I really want to be a master. I really want to be love. And that's not how you embody the authentic version of yourself. You simply realize that you already are that. That's how you embody it now. I don't need to go anywhere, learn anything, or do anything in order to be authentic, in order to be God, in order to be love, in order to be who I am, in order to be master, in order to be perfect. I don't have to do that. I already am that. So this is something that I accepted that allowed me to experience that shift. So that's one tip I can give you. But I realized, I had a realization that stop fighting how I'm feeling. Stop fighting what I'm thinking. Stop fighting my experience, myself. Because I don't have to fight it. Because my thoughts don't mean anything and my emotions don't mean anything. They're not creating for me, even if they feel real. It's still not. And I can separate myself from that. Instead of being the tornado, I can look at the tornado and know that it is not me. It doesn't represent me. It doesn't manifest for me. So it doesn't matter what I feel, think, say, do. It's not going to mess up my manifestation. It's not going to mess up what I want. It can't change the truth. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, feels, says, does. They can't fuck it up either. So I was having an experience, an emotional experience that was very strong. I was in the throes of the tornado and I chose to stop fighting and let it be, let it come through me, stop fighting. So when you stop fighting, what does this mean? You stop giving power to the idea. You stop giving the idea of power to the thing that you were previously struggling with. Oh, I don't have to struggle with you. You don't exist. So you take the power out of it when you know you don't have to fight it because you know it doesn't materialize or mean anything in your world. That is the power of Creator God. That is the Creator power. You don't have to exert any force or energy, nothing. It takes nothing because what are you fighting? Something that isn't real? No. So I stopped fighting it. I let it come through and I accepted that emotion does not, these things, none of these things, even no matter how real it feels, it doesn't create for me. And I think authenticity is allowing, we could say, the avatar or the character that you're experiencing life through, allowing it to have experiences that it's having, and you still know that you are not that, and you're authentically allowing the character to experience that. That's called love, because you're embracing the emotions, you're embracing the experience, and that's love. And love paradoxically transforms. When you do that, the cycle will stop and the struggle will stop, and you'll finally see, paradoxically, the light of day, and you'll finally experience a vibrational shift. But not from trying. When you try to experience a shift and it happens, it's not lasting because you're like, it's taking a lot of effort to make it happen, so it's not a real true shift. A real true shift happens because you're in alignment with truth. You're in alignment with yourself. So that changed everything for me. And within like one day, I was like, oh my gosh, I got my powers back. I got my powers back, and I know exactly what I did and how I did it, and I know how to keep doing it. And it's really profound when you find out that everything you thought was real really isn't. But it's not profound until you experience it for yourself. And like that's one of the things that it's like, okay, we can teach this stuff and people teach this stuff, but it's words. And how do you make that realization happen? And I think one tip that I'll give you about that, because there's a huge difference between knowing it here and embodying a teaching. Don't try to make yourself realize it or know it right now. Don't try to make yourself change, because the yourself that you're trying to change is not actually you. So you don't have to change it. It's going to change anyway. All you need to do is choose to know that you're going to wake up with that realization. And that's what I did. And that's what happened to me. And that's how I manifest a lot of things, is like, I don't have to force myself into a state. I'm going to wake up in that state. This too shall pass.
Essentially turning instability into stability. That's essentially the key here. Because circumstances, thoughts, emotions are so malleable and so changeable, they change like every moment. You can't rely on them as like a structure. But when you come at it from a place of awareness where you're observing these things, you're not really fighting them, you're just observing them. And in that sense, you start to embrace them, you start to accept them, which you're pretty much loving the tornado from a distance. That's essentially it. If we were going to use a tornado as a metaphor. So yes, it's like, because like this is a subtle nuance where it's like you can try to accept it, you can try to embrace it, but like you're really trying to run away from it, because like there's a very thin line of like actually confronting it and like saying, you know what, I feel this way. It's perfectly okay. I'm gonna have ice cream, just gonna go and
That
walk.
was the best fucking shit. Not having to fight was the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Really putting down the struggle like I had never before. I had never figured that out before. It's everything. And that's what we want. We know that manifestation is supposed to be effortless, instantaneous and effortless, and no effort at all. And it is. So you don't have to do anything.
Which I think is really important, because like you're no longer operating from a space of separation. You're operating from a place of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
A place where you are connected to everything, like source, universe, to all your desires. And that includes what we label as negative emotions, negative thoughts. It's just that the way that you approach those things allow those things to transmute into more love. It is essentially more access to more love, because you're accepting yourself, you're acting from that stable place. And that is authentic.
Yeah, when you can't. So think about this. So basically what we're saying is how to get rid of fear, which we're gonna do a lesson on basically how to stop experiencing fear. We're gonna do this in SuperLife. If you're there already, cool. RSVP. If you're not, that link is gonna be in the description below. We're gonna start doing a lot more like specific events. So we'll have a calendar coming up. But I was given a message, we all know this, but how fear, it's like you don't have to be afraid. Because like you're either in love or in fear. Fear does not exist in love. And we're experiencing fear in so many ways on so many levels. But when you like, fear is right. So you see something, oh no, run away, hide, fight, something, do something. Oh my goodness, it's a thing and it's there. What are we going to do about this thing? It's there. Oh my God, run, hide. What do we do? And so when you are able to allow it to be, because you know it doesn't create for you, it doesn't have any influence whatsoever, when you can embrace it and love it, it transforms. And this, you being the embodiment of this experience on a continuous, deliberate basis, because now you know what you're doing, this is the end of fear. And that is so impactful and profound and powerful and transformative more than anything else. And this is like one of these shifts that I experienced that it was like a shift and I'm like, oh, the trajectory just changed a lot. I can feel that. And this is it, when you get connected to your authentic self, your I am self, there is a feeling associated with that. It's a feeling of alignment. I call it manifestational currency. And this is the kind of thing we're always trying to like obtain through some sort of manifestational contriving or whatever. But you really want that to come from a knowing of who you are, and that's source. And then you feel that connection with source.
And the really cool thing is that as you continue to do this with yourself, then you'll just entertain reality the same way. And it won't never like break you or never like take you off your like level of stability. You'll just recognize it for what it truly is.
Nothing will throw you off anymore. Right. Because what ends up happening is at first, you experience thoughts and feelings like you always did, and they feel very real and convincing, but you know and decide, and whatever you know and decide is what goes in your universe. So you know and decide that this feeling and this thought and this thing and this story and this experience, this whatever, does not affect me or manifest for me or represent me at all. It means nothing. So you begin doing that, and then what ends up happening is it loses hold on you, and the experiences the negative experiences begin to be less intense. And then soon, you're not even having them anymore. The negative experiences are not even coming up anymore. The thoughts are not coming up anymore. The feeling, because if you're doing this, then as soon as it comes up, you're remembering that that's not you, and it takes the impact right out of the thing before it even started. There's no momentum can even begin there because you're aware and you're doing this. So what ends up happening is those negative thoughts and feelings are not even there anymore. Guess what is there? Whatever you want to be there. So you are still creating via your thoughts and feelings and imagination and basically affirmations, because everything you think is an affirmation, but it's on your terms now. And so this is how you manifest. This is how this will end up manifesting your person is your center of gravity, your self-concept and concept of self have changed. Because now you're able to think on your terms, and you're filling your head and your embodiment and your everything with everything you freaking want. And nothing else, nothing that isn't what you want gets a breath in your reality. It doesn't. And so you start thinking about your specific person situation and yourself and your relationship the way that you want to. And now that there's no interference, guess what? It happens. And it's that easy. And it is actually easy. And if you haven't got it, that's okay. Just know that you will, and continue pursuing reinforcement, like continue educating yourself and reinforcing this information, and it will click for you. I think that is complete. I didn't even go over any of this. So what I'm going to do is I took notes of a lot of like realizations basically that happened simultaneously with this dramatic shift that I experienced in awareness, so that I could kind of help you guys make that shift. And I'm going to be covering that in SuperLife also. So if you would like to join my community called SuperLife, like-minded people, we go live twice a week. We teach presence. We talk about, you can ask me questions. We'll answer your questions. And just otherwise you have support on your journey. That link is going to be in the description below. I've been getting a lot of comments about my beauty and the fact that I haven't really aged much and all this kind of stuff. And I have decided that this is a really important aspect of life. And I think that it's especially important for people who want to be high performers are high performers, people who are really top tier in their lives and feel like they want to do more than just exist, more than just get the bare minimum. So that's this idea and all of this. I'm going to be covering all of this in the Fountain of Youth, which is also listed below in the description. But do check out our live videos that are coming out soon, this week, next week, onward. Click the notify me button so that you're notified when these videos go live. And otherwise, if you're still watching, that means you like the video. So click the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.